Hello, I'm Titan Nora.
And I'm Jessica.
And welcome to a ProjectYGO interview with the man who needs no introduction, LittleKuriboh. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Yes, good to be here.
Yep. So, anything new?
Yeah, nothing's really... I mean, I'm working sort of half and half on the new episode, but nothing's really getting done. It's not going very well, but I'm sure I'll make something of it.
Too much time playing new Sims 3.
You bet.
Yep. So I guess we can just...
Hey, I can escape to a world where I don't have people pestering me for new episodes.
So,
Although you can actually impersonate...
Why did you decide to join...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was done.
Oh, sorry. Why did you decide to join Project Yu-Gi-Oh? Okay.
I can't remember. Mostly because I've never really done any sort of serious fan dub. I mostly do comedy stuff, and I thought... I always wanted to sort of make Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, even from the beginning when I started Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, I was mostly trying to sort of expand the Yu-Gi-Oh! Audience and hoping to communicate the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't the sort of show. I mean, a lot of people see it and write it off as sort of a Pokemon ripoff or just, a really badly done anime cartoon, and I think there's a lot more to it than people sort of get when they look at it and they judge it by obviously the American version and
The dub.
yeah, and it's just one of those things. I thought it would be fun. It would be fun to be involved with something like that because I've never really done anything like it, and also I just thought it would help not to blow my own trumpet or anything, but I mean, it would lend sort of credence to the project if somebody who was known for doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff was involved, and even if I was only involved in a small role, it would get you attention, and it would be cool. Mostly, I just thought it would be cool to do.
Yeah. Even your own show got pretty much a mixed bag of people who were interested, people who hated Yu-Gi-Oh!, who liked it being made fun of, people who loved Yu-Gi-Oh!, people who were like indifferent, who just thought it was a funny comedy show, just like pretty much everyone.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see the initial reactions to Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged when I first realized that it was actually a good thing, rather because when I first started it, I didn't do any promotion for it. I mean, I've never really gone out of my way to promote Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, but it sort of promoted itself somehow. I mean, the first time I knew that it was actually getting somewhere was when I saw people posting about it on like somethingawful.com and Penny Arcade forums and stuff like that, and it was just like, wow, people! It's not just people who like anime who are watching this; it's people who just like comedy in general and like internet-based humor and stuff. And so it's like, well, it might be worthwhile actually putting some effort into it. So it was interesting. It was nice to see that people were able to judge it based on what it was rather than based on what it was based on. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really the fans you get. Word of mouth is like way more powerful than most people give it credit for. A lot of people who saw your show and our show and they spread it around to their friends. They told other people and it spread. Yeah. It's very simple, but it works wonders.
It is, because I mean, I only posted, like, when I made the first episode, I only posted that in one place, and then somehow it must have traveled, because, I mean, I only remember getting about 20 comments, but then, and if you read, like, my old LiveJournal posts, you'll see that I'm, like, getting very excited. Yeah, I'm getting very excited that I have, like, 100 subscribers.
I remember when I got my first one, I still talk to the guy who originally subscribed to me. We're buddies, just because he was my very first subscriber.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it works because I remember subscribing to like one or two other channels on YouTube, and people actually started subscribing to those channels because they realized, oh, this guy, LittleKuriboh, is interested in what this guy's doing. Well, let's check it out. And it was cool to see like that sort of continuation of word of mouth, like just going on to other people. And there's like a certain guy on YouTube who I don't remember him being that popular until I subscribed to him, and now he's made a huge name for himself. I mean, I don't take any credit for that whatsoever, but I think it's really cool that it's possible that word of mouth started spreading based on the fact that
you
never
made my
saw it through
music
that.
video really popular because he has a favorite. Now, at the time, I was like the only favorite on your list on your new account. Card Games for the win. For anyone who doesn't know already.
Or Card Games FTW.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising how many people on YouTube have latched onto people who have taken your name and added like numbers onto the end, and just have posted all of your videos on their own accounts.
But see, that sort of thing doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, it bothers some people who like follow my stuff because they don't know who the real one is. But I mean, I honestly, as long as people are seeing it and they're enjoying it, it doesn't really matter how they see it.
But,
Sorry?
Like, yeah, you're like the internet Oprah or something. Like, totally indirectly, but like, yeah.
You dictate what's popular. This person is funny. We will follow. So, what's your favorite TV show or anime like right now? Like, what are you currently watching? Or
currently, I actually just started renting the box set of Kingdom Hospital, which is Stephen King's adaptation of a popular foreign miniseries. And it's really, really interesting. I mean, I think it's very well acted and very, very atmospheric. And I wouldn't say it was scary, but I think it's eerie and it's creepy. But it's also very, very funny at times. And I think it's the only genuine live action adaptation of Stephen King's material I've ever seen, because it feels like it's part of his universe. If you've ever read a Stephen King novel, you know that very few films have actually done his writing style justice, but Kingdom Hospital is like a really, really almost perfect adaptation of the way he writes. I think I highly recommend it to anybody. There's some really great stuff in it, and really interesting CGI as well. I've not seen CGI done quite like the way it's done in Kingdom Hospital. It's really interesting.
So, if you weren't voicing Grandpa in our dub, like, who would you want to voice? Because I know everyone wants you to voice everyone.
I don't know. I mean, I really like Grandpa. I think it's one of the only voices that I actually do that actually sounds similar to the English dub version of that character, and it sounds like an actual old man talking sometimes. So, I mean, I don't think any of my other voices really do the characters justice. So I don't know if I'd want to try anything. I mean, I've never really, like I said, I've never really done any serious voice acting, so I guess it would require me to experiment a bit. But I mean, I guess I'd be interested in doing someone like Tristan or Joey or someone like that, someone supporting who's sort of comic relief, I guess.
Yeah, you created like your own version of Yugi and Atem that people have... Your Atem has like evolved over the years from what it used to be into what it is now.
I mean, he used to say a lot of really funny ancient Egyptian references before anybody even knew he was from Egypt, which I thought was funny. I mean, there were people who actually like call me on stuff like that. Sorry.
Like how they call him Pharaoh after like what, like partway into like season 2 or something, 4Kids stuff. They start calling him Pharaoh sometimes for like no reason.
Yeah. But like, I mean, in episode 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, Kaiba refers to him as, he says, the guy who's going to beat your pasty Pharaoh butt. And then and then later on in season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, somebody called him Pharaoh before anybody actually knew specifically that he was a Pharaoh. And somebody said to me, wait, that doesn't make any sense. They just called him Pharaoh. And I was like, do you watch my show? Have you noticed that there's no actual continuity?
Continuity and comedy, yeah. That makes sense.
It happens.
It does happen. I mean, a lot of great comedy is treated very seriously. I mean, I'm a huge fan of dark comedy. I personally don't really like comedy that much, but if comedy's done in a certain way, in a very specific way, I'll enjoy it. I don't know. I mean, I like ad-libbed humor a lot for some reason. Like, I was a huge fan of Whose Line Is It Anyway, but I don't really... I mean, the style of comedy that I use, I don't know if I'd be a huge fan of it if I wasn't making it.
Both the British version and the American version of Whose Line were great shows. It's canceled in the U.S. I'm not sure about the British version. Is it still running?
Oh, it's been finished for a long time in England.
That's a shame.
Like a decade ago.
That's a shame, because both were amazing.
They were very good. I mean, I haven't really watched much of the American version. I've noticed that on the American version, the audience tends to get very involved, Whereas in the British version, we're just sort of there. We're just sort of there to be the occasional suggestion. Whereas in the American version, the show seems to pause for like 5 minutes while the audience goes crazy. I mean, I grew up on the British version of Whose Line Is It Anyway, so it's probably influenced me somehow. I don't know. I mean, I'm not very good at ad-libbing humor though myself. I'm not very spontaneous. But I mean, what do you mean?
Like, you have to have the thought written and developed before you can execute it.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I remember back in school, people told me I was a fairly funny. Like I was always like the class clown at school, but that was because I sort of had to be. Otherwise, bad things would happen. You have to sort of compensate for the fact that you're a weakling by telling jokes and doing impressions.
You had to make a name for yourself, and that was for your stake in survival.
Yeah, it was one of those things. If you left the classroom, you were dead.